Hi, I'm Victoria and I'm a child psychiatrist, and I'm here to answer the questions you have as a parent about your child's mental well-being. The question I'll be answering today is, what are the red flags when it comes to children's mental health? And if you'd like me to have a look at your question, please do comment below. I'll have a look at the questions and then I choose some to do videos about. Otherwise, please stay tuned and listen to what I have to say about this particular question. So the first thing I want to say is this is a very complex question, and actually I spend a lot of my time and work really trying to figure out whether what I'm seeing is illness or whether what I'm seeing is kind of part of normal development, something that is going to pass. So I just want to put that out there. It is very, very complex. And so I'm just going to give you some thoughts that I have when I'm seeing in people, what kind of goes through my mind to make me think, oh, is this an illness or is this kind of part of normal development? It's very important to understand that children do go through different stages, and sometimes when the brain is sort of having an upgrade, they might have a bit of a dip in their functioning, and this is quite normal, and then it recovers. So it's not linear. Children don't kind of go through life in a very linear way. They do have ups and downs with how they are with their moods, and they can be very, very different. They can be quite quirky, they can be quite moody. Some children are very sociable, some aren't. So some of how they are is just part of their personality, not necessarily illness. So as I said, that's something I spend quite a lot of time thinking about. So the things that I think about when I am seeing a young person in front of me and wondering whether they're ill or whether this is normal is about function. So function for me is very important, because if a child or a young person is actually functioning quite well in life, then they're probably not going to be ill. They're probably just slightly unusual, perhaps slightly different from their peers, but all as part of, continuum of normality, really. So function for me is very important. So what do I mean by function? It probably means different things to different people. I think of four kind of main areas of function. So the first thing I think about is the very basic everyday physical functioning. So can they do the normal things that children of that age do to look after themselves? So can they dress themselves and brush their teeth? Do they get up? Do they have a shower? If they're kind of old enough to be doing that independently, do they get dressed? Do they change their clothes? Do they kind of eat, or are they not really interested in eating anymore? Those things are really very, very important, and I always look at them. And if some of them are really no longer happening, or a child has always really struggled with them, this would make me wonder, and it would just be kind of a tick in my brain thinking, okay, I need to know a bit more about this. So kind of general activities of daily living, as we often call it when I'm seeing young people. The next thing is thinking about how they're functioning socially. So there's a very big range of normal social function. Some children do just prefer to have one or two friends, and that's just how they are. Some children like to have, lots of friends. I think the key here is how they're feeling. Whether they're feeling lonely and they're feeling like no one likes them, or whether they're feeling, actually, I've got two friends and that's what I want. That's happy. I'm happy with that. So really, children, when they're feeling healthy, they should be able to have some close friendships and also be able to function socially with the family. So you would expect them to spend some time, with the family, even when they're teenagers, coming down, maybe watching some telly with you, perhaps having dinner with you. So there should be an element of social functioning. If a child has really stopped all of that, including coming down to see the family, again, that would just be another tick in my brain thinking, okay, this is also not very good, really. I need to know a bit more about that. The third area of functioning is school. So schools are very different. Obviously, some children have different abilities academically, but really a healthy child should be able to cope with the demands of school. And by demands, I don't just mean academically, I mean also the social stuff. They'll have ups and downs, they'll be frustrated, but ultimately it's not something that kind of plays on their mind all the time. And they still go to school and they still, do their best and enjoy the social aspect of it as well. I really start to get worried if children are starting to refuse to go to school, if they come back, telling people that everything is awful and they just don't want to be there, or actually if their behaviour is so difficult at school that they just simply can't stay there. Then again, that would be another tick, and I'll be thinking, okay, something is not quite right here. I need to know more about why it's so difficult to be at school, and there might be a mental health problem behind that. The fourth and the last thing that I think about is emotional regulation. So that's something I've already spoken about in some videos. And children don't fully emotionally regulate. Some adults don't fully emotionally regulate. But certainly, with a bit of help, I would expect the child to be able to bring their emotions down. So if they are feeling bad or something difficult has happened, yes, they will get angry and upset. But with a bit of support from parents or friends, and also some of their own tactics, they hopefully should be able to bring the upset down and kind of come back to being themselves. If that is not happening, if things that are happening in their lives just make them feel terrible, I would really be concerned about that. If it's going on and on for a long time and they can't seem to come back down again, that would be just another tick of why is it so difficult to regulate emotions, even with the help of others. What's going on here? And when I'm thinking about young people, I always sort of look at several things together. So if it's just one thing, I'd say, okay, well, let's see what's happening. But if several things are getting ticked along the way, then I become increasingly concerned that something is happening. The other thing I think about is how long this has been going on for. As I said, children do kind of go through phases, and it's quite normal to have some dip in functioning. And it's not just phases in terms of brain development. They have social phases as well, like they move schools, or they get a different friendship group, or you might move as a family. So there will be some ups and downs naturally happening, but usually a child will recover from them. And I'd say that it might take a month or something like that to settle in, or to get used to the new brain functioning. But really, if things are going on for longer than a month, I'd probably again start to wonder about things. So time is important. And also kind of if it's actually something they have never managed, when you look at the function, if they've never managed to get to school, it's always been difficult. Obviously, that's quite a long time length. And again, I would worry about kind of what's happened there. If it's been a change, like they have always been absolutely fine, but they've suddenly stopped being able to do something, and a month later they're still really not on the way to getting better, that would make me worried. So what can you really do as a parent? Well, these are very complex questions, and I think it's very hard to know yourself whether your child is ill. Though if you have that feeling, I would absolutely trust it. Get your child seen by a doctor. You know them best. You know if something is not right. You know if they have been able to do something that they're no longer able to do. So I think it's very important, if you just have that niggling thought, to get yourself and your child down to the GP just to be seen and see if you need any more help. I hope you like this video. Do click through to my website. I do offer some workshops and other events and online things, so please do have a look, or otherwise come back next week where I'll be doing another video answering another question.